I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy, remember it? So you don't have to. If you were to tell me back in 1987 that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was still gonna be around 30 years later after it first came on TV, 6-year-old me goes, yeah! 36-year-old me goes, what the hell's kinda wrong with us? It's weird to think of all the comic book characters that could have the lasting power of Batman with tons of different incarnations over the years. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would be one of the major ones. Even though I friggin' adored everything turtle related growing up, it is odd to think that a clear product of the late 80s and early 90s would lend itself to so many reboots and spin-offs. Many of them still very popular. Well, I can't say I've actively watched them all. I can say I kept taking a peek once in a while to see what they were up to. Kinda like checking in on an old childhood friend, who has many ups and downs over the years. Nickelodeon, after wrapping up a pretty popular run with their last take on the series, has rebooted the idea again with Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because everyone needs to be rising now for some reason. Hell, if they really want to make this modern, they call it the Sleeping In Past Noon, because hell with your shit, it's the goddamn weekend of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Fans have been buzzing about their new design, new style, and all-around new feel. While the Turtles have certainly looked and acted different in the past, there was a definite spin on this version that seemed very unique compared to the others. Nickelodeon was so confident in this new version that, like Disney did with the DuckTales reboot, they released the first episode on YouTube in late July, despite the show premiering mid-September. Will it win Turtle fans over? Can it suck in the newcomers? Does anyone see YouTube videos they subscribe to if they didn't press that goddamn bell? The answer to all of these is pointlessly complicated, yet somehow simplistically dumb. And we're gonna look it over today. Let's take a look at Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. First, let's examine the intro. It's friggin' amazing. Like Thundercats, X-Men, even original Ninja Turtles, amazing. This whole opening is done in one shot with no cuts, and the animation matches the incredible angles and energy throughout the whole thing. It's a friggin' rush. This is one of those intros you can watch over and over and slow down to see what you missed. Look, there's that naked lady from The Rescuers. Unlike the other versions though, the song explains very little about who the Turtles are and even leaves out their origin. Get used to that. As you'll see, the episode starts off by explaining, how'd that dude from UHF put it?
Nothing! Absolutely nothing!
No, really, watch. Two guys in gym clothes with dog pouches and brows that ate their eyes are chasing after a Pika Gizmo, American Dragon, that can teleport away. Oh yes, it gets stranger. We randomly cut to presumably a crime boss looking at the briefcase from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, we happy.
We see our heroes in a half shell watch this shady deal as they set up a grappling hook, cling onto the wire, swing right past the mob boss, and cannonball into a pool. And if you're thinking like I was, how funny it would be if we never see that crime boss again, we never see that crime boss again. Well, that is funny, but what? Quickly, the tone of the show starts to reveal itself as we look at the Turtles' designs and how they act. It looks like they kept some of the additions from the Bay-produced films. The good additions! As we see things like Donatello's tech gear, even down to his shell being half robotic, Michelangelo having more of the silly goof-off look, and Raphael looking rough and...
Brother Ball!
Getting his name removed from the Guinness Sports Records. What kind of shell roids is he taking? I mean, I like the idea of the Turtles being different sizes, but all of them are the exact same except for him. He literally picks up Michelangelo with one hand and throws him at one point. Did he also steal a tooth from Leatherhead, or is that just to open soda easier? He's looking like Clay Croc. We also get the one constant change in every Turtle property, April.
If you step to my friends for stepping to you, for stepping to me, you gonna have to step to me.
They've changed her so much in this franchise, Lando Calrissian is complaining about her to Darth Vader.
I have altered April again. Pray I do not alter her further. This franchise is getting weirder all the time.
But their looks are fine as long as it matches their personality traits, like Michelangelo.
You must be this rad to ride that ride.
The party dude, Leonardo.
Oh yeah!
The party dude, Raphael.
Cannonball!
The party dude, and Donatello, the machine guy. Note also a party dude.
Based on our velocity and entry angle, I concur.
Well, that's incredibly odd. At least April is there to act as...
Who has crushed it? Give me 5, or 3.
A party dude? Okay, I'll admit, it's not like the Turtles were the most fleshed out of characters. But in terms of their personality, you could still tell them apart. Despite them looking identical except for their mask colors, you still knew who would say what in a situation. For example, who's this?
Why don't we just find these ninja thieves for her? And perhaps she could help us find a cure for Splinter's condition.
That's the grounded responsibility of Leonardo. Who's this?
Bingo. Yeah, we're dealing with a real mind here.
That's the wisecracking cynicism of Raphael. Who's this?
Rock, dudes! It's a place where we can get some pizza!
That's the totally baked, dim-witted charm of Michelangelo. Now, let's try it with the other Turtles. Who's this?
Teriyaki shakedown always gets me so jazzed.
Well, that sounds like the goofiness of Michelangelo. Oh, nope, it's Donatello. How about this?
What? I can't make a joke in the middle of the craziest thing ever? That's how I cope.
Well, that also sounds like the goofiness of Michelangelo. Oh, it's Leonardo. How about this?
Let's go bungee dunk on the hoops at Rucker Park.
Well, I'm just gonna go against the grain and say that's Raphael. Oh, that's Michelangelo! See a problem? Don't get me wrong, the voice acting is good and they have great delivery. I can tell them apart just by the vocals. But in terms of the personality, there's little to no difference. Some have even said that they switched the leadership roles of having Raph as the leader instead of Leo. But after seeing 4 of these episodes, I couldn't tell you who the leader is, because they're all exactly alike. And if you're wondering why they're not going to their backstory, series villains, or honestly any character, it's because this show is taking a very similar route as Teen Titans Go. The focus is more on jokes and silliness rather than consistent storytelling. And yes, I know how ridiculous it sounds to demand consistent storytelling from something called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but that was always kind of part of their charm. Even though it was dumb, it was still an action series too, and you can't be that into the action if you're not that into the story or characters. Teen Titans Go has a very similar problem, but don't worry, we'll get into that in a few weeks. For this, however, there's a great irony that the action is harder to get invested in because, honestly, it's some of the best action the shows have ever had. Watch to see what I'm talking about as we get back to the story with April and the Turtles coming across Pac-Man's furry here. The 2 henchmen turn into bug aliens riding their dogs as steeds. And the action just kind of starts without knowing what these 2 guys' personalities are. Look at them! Don't you want to know more about these 2 weirdos? It not only would make the comedy funnier seeing their unique personas work off of the Turtles, but we'd be more invested in the fight itself. Can you imagine fighting Bebop and Rocksteady without establishing them at all? Or the Shredder, or Krang, or any number of mutants that they fight over the shows? It was silly, but it was fun because we knew these guys so well and so quickly. Even the most throwaway villains had a distinct personality always attached to them. Here, it's bad guys with no personality versus 5 characters with only 1 personality. Therefore, it's not nearly as funny. But with that said, it is kind of funny. There are some good one-liners and deliveries throughout the fights. Ones that get a really hard laugh.
With or without your fake nerd voices.
That was actually my real voice.
Well, you better get intimidated.
What's wrong with my voice?
So, you guys from Jersey?
These are good jokes, but they're not personality-based. Any one of those characters could say those lines and get a laugh. But again, the animation is crazy amazing and those jokes do get legitimate laughs. Like I love this random pizza boy who just falls into an evil portal mid-fight.
Good to know.
April gets sucked in too, along with Wolverine's Build-A-Bear, and the Turtles have to figure out a way to follow them.
Hey, April! Are your bits on the other side of the wall?
Well, if it was Megan Fox, probably, but... Oh, by bits you meant... Oh, God, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about... I think this is a good spot for a commercial. So we're introduced to Master Splinter, who is the Tasmanian Devil? Who also calls his adopted sons by their colors. Like what parents of kids who like Ninja Turtles do.
And I thought purple was the funny one.
I'm just hoping he's playfully joking around the same way Iroh or Yoda does, and he reveals that he's actually very wise.
Someday you will be great ninjas. Is something I would say if I were a liar.
Nope, he's kind of an asshole.
We can be heroes like Lujitsu.
Nice try.
Man, if he was kidnapped like in the movies, I'd be more than happy to bring on the rat poison.
Hey, I've seen this before. In Splinter's Do Not Touch cabinet. We gotta get Splinter out of the room.
I don't even get it. Why don't they just say they need the device to save April?
And what do we say if he asks why we want it? That we needed to go after our best friend who disappeared into a wall?
Yeah, that! Yeah! Leo steals it, though, when Splinter's asleep, and they use it to get to Dimension
Over here.
April!
They find April, they hug, and then they immediately just talk about where they are.
And we're in a mystic hidden city, deep under New York.
It's the relationships that's the heart of the show. It turns out they're under New York, where a villain named Baron Draxum plans to turn people into mutants using the ooze and mosquitoes. They happen to find magic weapons exactly like theirs, except I'm sure they'll cost more at the toy store, and they tell Baron to give back their Simpson Momo.
Stop creating imitation crabmen.
And a ride in a limo
this is
with a
getting
hot
old.
tub and pizza.
You walk out of here.
Beautiful.
So, how progressive is this version? Once again, they have a fight sequence, and, well, it's friggin' amazing. I can't believe how good this animation is. It's like Kill la Kill fighting against the turtle toy boxes. It's beautiful to look at.
No, look out, guys!
Accidentally impressive.
Boy, talk about two words that sum up this show perfectly.
We don't spend enough quality time together.
Oh, please not now, Mikey.
Okay, you know there's gonna be enough slash art of you guys. You don't need to fuel the fire. Draxon's machine falls apart, destroying-ish him. Future episodes. And the Muppet Minion teleports everyone out, making you wonder why he didn't just teleport out before. Oh my god, am I applying logic to this show?
Oh no! Splinter's doohickey!
Oh no, who cares? Characters don't mean shit, just name your pet.
You sure were good through all that mayhem. Hey, Mayhem. That's a cute name.
Oh, and yourselves, I guess.
We deserve a name like Mad Dogs!
Mad Dogs? You don't think something like Ninja Mutant Turtle Teens or, I don't know, maybe we'll keep brainstorming.
I mean, think about the European market. Hero might be better than Ninja. But oh no, a bunch of the mosquitoes get out and it's over 22 minutes. We'll just get them next time. And by next time, I mean not in the next 4 episodes. Yeah, the following episodes never address this, again focusing on more wacky comedy than continuing plot. So this one just ends with the voice actor asking us to give our thoughts.
All right, comment below. Let us know your thoughts.
No! How long has YouTube been around? You should know better! That's like asking Gollum his opinion on rings. Some things you just don't do! Since the other episodes are on Nickelodeon's site, I won't go into too much detail about them, as I'm sure they're building up for the September premiere. But I will say, they're roughly the same thing. The times are cut in half to 11 minutes, there's usually some problem or foe that they have to overcome, and they use action and or jokes to overcome it. Like I said, there's no one main villain or much of a continuing story or even continuity. Mutants, for example, just seem to exist in this world. One owns a puppy farm while another owns a junkyard. It isn't very clear how this world works, but again, I think that's kind of the point. It'll be interesting to see if they want to take this the same direction as Adventure Time or Steven Universe, where there's silly nonsense mixed in with slow building drama. If that's the idea though, there is no sign of it yet, and I kinda argue there shouldn't be. Even in their goofiest episodes, the characters are very well defined in those shows, so we relate to them very easily and know what they're going through even when the tough stuff happens. But like I said before, everyone in Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is exactly the same character. The only difference is a slight addition of some cliches, like Raph might say a tough stereotype, Don might say a geeky stereotype, April might say a sassy stereotype, and Splinter might say an old stereotype. So the best way I can describe this show is enjoyably frustrating. There is a lot to be impressed by, some of it the most impressive in any incarnation of the Ninja Turtles. The action, amazing. The designs, colorful and unique. The comedy, sometimes awkward, but other times hugely hilarious. If they want to go for just zany jokes like Ren and Stimpy or SpongeBob, I'm open to that. But if they want to add an action angle as well as make memorable characters, there has to be a better understanding of who's being portrayed and the environment they're being portrayed in. Shows like Gravity Falls or Star vs. the Forces of Evil are silly. But Mabel is going to be a different kind of silly than Grunkle Stan. Star is going to have a different kind of energy than Marco. That's why we like them, and that's why we're with them both through so much goofiness and so much drama. But these characters have little variety. The best example I can think of how well this can work is in The Simpsons. The family has something Mr. Burns wants, and Marge says that they can get a decent price for it and then make him double it. Everyone looks at her shocked as she says, "Why can't I be greedy once in a while?" That only works because it's Marge, because you know her character. That wouldn't have worked if Bart said it, or Homer said it, or Nelson said it, or Barney said it. It has to be the unique character they designed for only her. If this show wants to last and stand out, it has to have characters as definable as these characters. But, truth be told, I think it can. There are some good laughs, some fun ideas, and some incredible animation, and I think it should all be utilized as best as possible. While it has a clunky start, it's a start with promise. But they're promises that could ironically use a little more limitation in some areas and a little more expansion in others. Given the right tuning, this could be a very fun and unique show. I don't know what's next for the Ninja Turtles, whether this has a long future or a short future ahead of it, but I hope it plays to its strengths, sharpens its dull edges, and turns out a show worthy of the surprisingly long-lasting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle name. I'm a Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to.
Are your bits on the other side of the wall?
Hey, Doug Walker here doing the charity shout out, and this week we are doing the Environmental Working Group. The Environmental Working Group's mission is to empower people to live healthier lives in a healthier environment. With breakthrough research and education, they drive consumer choice and civic action. They are a non-profit, non-partisan organization dedicated to protecting human health and the environment. They work for you, finding out what's in your tap water, your shampoo, what's lurking in the cleaners underneath your sink, what pesticides are on your food, and so much more. They also have an A rating on Charity Watch, which is a clear sign they're top of their game. For more than 2 decades, they set out to empower everyone about how to get to know your environment and protect your health. Their website and their YouTube channel has so much information about the simple steps you can take to protect yourself and others from the dangers of so many things in our everyday lives. Pollution, littering, chemicals, this stuff is everywhere, and these folks show you why, what, and how to help. They take so many big steps to show you the little steps that you can take. Click on the link and see how even the tiniest of changes can make the biggest of differences.